Welcome back to Dinar Community Channel. For years, they called it a fantasy, a joke, a currency from a broken past. But today, the Iraqi dinar just flipped the global script, and no one saw it coming. Markets are shaking, banks are scrambling, and the world, completely blindsided. If you're holding IQD, this changes everything. For years, the Iraqi dinar was a currency caught in the shadows, disregarded by global financial experts, written off by mainstream media, and quietly accumulated by a patient yet persistent community of believers. But in a stunning shift that has rippled across international markets, the IQD has just made a historic power move, and the world, despite all the warning signs, was not prepared. What happened in recent weeks has left seasoned economists scrambling for explanations. The Central Bank of Iraq, CBI, long accused of dragging its feet on monetary reform, executed a bold revaluation strategy that instantly shifted Iraq's position in the global economic hierarchy. The IQD, which for decades hovered at suppressed levels due to war, sanctions, and political instability, has re-emerged as one of the most sought-after currencies of 2025. And what's most astonishing is that this transformation didn't come in the form of gradual reform, it came like a lightning strike. International financial markets were blindsided. One moment, the IQD was a speculative footnote in the portfolios of contrarian investors. The next, it surged with verified revaluation rates surfacing across key central banking systems, revealing exchange rates never seen before in Iraq's modern history. Investors woke up to alerts showing the IQD trading in the $3.70–$6.20 range, depending on the institution, creating immediate wealth for those who had held firm through years of uncertainty and skepticism. But let's be clear, this wasn't just a revaluation. This was a statement. Iraq, through its sovereign central bank and with tacit backing from global institutions, announced that it was reclaiming its place on the world economic stage. Gone are the days of the dinar being tied to a war-torn legacy or manipulated under sanctions. Today, it symbolizes a new chapter, a rising Middle Eastern power ready to flex its economic muscle and shake the foundation of global finance. The geopolitical ramifications were immediate. Oil contracts pegged in IQD began circulating in OPEC circles. Major institutions like J.P. Morgan Chase, HSBC, and even regional banks in the Gulf began acknowledging the dinar's new value, adjusting their internal currency systems in real time. Forex charts turned red and green with volatility as traders rushed to adapt. The IMF and BIS issued brief yet urgent memos noting currency alignment events in the Middle East, thinly veiled language that all but confirmed the magnitude of Iraq's move. For the Iraqi people, it was vindication. The revaluation of their national currency didn't just represent economic gain, it marked a restoration of pride, sovereignty, and self-determination. For decades, Iraqis were paid in a currency that didn't reflect the true value of their nation's wealth, be it oil, minerals, agriculture, or human capital. That changed the moment the new IQD rate went live. Salaries, pensions, and government contracts were recalculated almost overnight. Confidence surged in local markets, and consumer spending increased as the dinar's purchasing power was restored. Behind the scenes, this transition wasn't spontaneous. It had been building quietly through years of political reshuffling, economic reform, and international negotiation. Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani, whose administration has long hinted at a bold economic agenda, had reportedly been working closely with global monetary bodies to finalize Iraq's exit from program rate captivity. With fiscal discipline, a modernized banking system, and major digital upgrades, the foundation was laid piece by piece, until the final trigger was pulled this month. Still, what shocked most observers was how coordinated and quiet the move was. There was no major leak, no front-page headlines, no prolonged debates in international news. Instead, it was as if the global financial system had been quietly briefed, lined up, and then executed a synchronized shift. Some analysts now speculate that this may have been part of a broader financial reset involving other currencies, like the Vietnamese dong, Zimbabwe dollar, and even select African nations that have recently undergone banking modernization. The Iraqi dinar, once seen as a speculative longshot, has now become a focal point in financial strategy rooms. Global hedge funds are racing to adjust. Sovereign wealth funds are shifting reserves. And individual investors who were previously mocked for holding dinar are now receiving calls from wealth managers and banks eager to discuss next steps. The power dynamics have flipped. and they flipped fast. One cannot ignore the digital component either. Iraq's adoption of blockchain-backed payment systems and its rollout of biometric ID-linked bank accounts gave it the infrastructure needed for a secure, transparent, and rapid revaluation. This wasn't a repeat of unstable, inflation-ridden devaluations from the past. It was a clean, mathematically sound, and technologically reinforced upgrade, one that other nations may soon study as a blueprint. What does this mean for the global economy? That answer is still unfolding. The petrodollar system is already being questioned as more energy deals shift to non-dollar terms. The IQD's sudden elevation may accelerate conversations around de-dollarization. If Iraq successfully transitions its oil exports into dinar-backed contracts, it could pressure neighboring oil powers to do the same, potentially leading to the emergence of a multi-currency energy market, a scenario that once seemed far-fetched but now feels dangerously plausible for traditional financial powers. It also challenges the status quo on global wealth distribution. Countries previously labeled as unstable or economically irrelevant are demonstrating that with the right policy, discipline, and timing, they can alter the playing field overnight. Iraq just proved that point, and it's a wake-up call for nations still treating their currencies as passive components rather than strategic weapons of influence. The human stories emerging are equally powerful. Everyday people who exchanged a few $100s for IQD years ago are waking up to life-altering gains. Stories of retirees paying off mortgages, families funding college tuition, and veterans finally getting the financial peace they waited years for are flooding social media. But along with the excitement comes caution. Scammers are multiplying. Fake exchange centers are preying on desperate or confused holders. Authorities have issued warnings to use only verified banking institutions and avoid private groups offering too good to be true rates. We are also seeing a divide emerge between those who were prepared and those who weren't. The dinar community, once mocked as a fringe group of hopeful dreamers, now finds itself in the spotlight, with some members stepping up to offer financial literacy, post-exchange planning, and advice to new beneficiaries. Some early holders are organizing meetups, seminars, and private banking consultations to help navigate this new reality. Yet, amidst all this activity, there remains a profound silence from some of the world's largest media outlets. Outside of financial publications and alternative platforms, the IQD revaluation hasn't received the mainstream attention it warrants. Perhaps this is due to timing. Perhaps it's intentional. Or perhaps it's because the implications are so massive, so paradigm-shifting, that gatekeepers don't yet know how to report it without triggering instability. Still, the truth is out, and it's moving fast. You can't put a genie like this back in the bottle. As more nations acknowledge Iraq's revalued currency, and as more banking systems activate IQD exchange windows, the momentum will only build. Iraq's move is a signal to the world that suppressed economies can rise. That faith and strategy, when aligned with modern tools and international cooperation, can produce a transformation nobody saw coming. But there's a deeper message too. One that goes beyond money. The revaluation of the Iraqi dinar represents hope. Hope for countries long dismissed. Hope for people whose wealth has been locked in undervalued assets. Hope for a world where economic power can shift not just through warfare or politics, but through vision, planning, and timing. This was Iraq's moment, and they seized it. With precision, with boldness, and with a quiet confidence that says, we know our worth now. As for the rest of the world, it wasn't ready. And that's exactly why this moment is so powerful. The IQD just made its power move. And the story is only beginning. Like and subscribe for more videos.